If you've had a recent life change, or even if you found yourself just really desiring a life change, that kind of change usually requires addressing your self-worth. It really requires you asking yourself, what kind of life do you really want? The thing is, self-worth is really at the heart of our ability or our inability to live a life that's deeply satisfying. Our own self-worth actually sets our own standards for ourselves and for our life. And so how we feel about ourselves determines the standards we set for the people who come into our life. I'm Ketra Thompson, and I'm a certified master hypnotist and a life recovery coach, and I'm so glad that you have decided to join me on this journey. Let's jump into this topic of self-worth. Before we dive in, I just want to remind you to hit like and subscribe so you can be notified every time I post a new video. And also, there is a link in the description of this video that will allow you to set up a consultation call with me. It's completely complimentary, and I want to let you know that's just in the description. Okay, so first of all, let's just ask, why is it so hard for people to fully embody their own self-worth? Our own self-worth is all about our mindset. It's really connected to what we truly believe we deserve. Self-worth is really so much about our own intrinsic worth and how we deeply feel about that on a subconscious level. Oftentimes we can say that we have high self-worth or even truly believe it, but sometimes that's just an operation from our conscious mind, and it isn't actually on that deeper subconscious level. It's a little more like wishful thinking, or that you might know that you're supposed to have good self-worth, and so you proclaim that you do, but there's not a deeper belief system to support that. Deep self-worth comes from a part of your subconscious mind where you truly know that you were created worthy, that you didn't have to earn that, and that you can embody that self-worth. So the subconscious mind is primarily formed from birth to the age 7. And what is happening during that time is we are taking in so much information and we're assigning meaning to it, and we're using that meaning to write what I call the blueprint for the subconscious mind. It really creates our belief system that will carry us through our entire life. And our subconscious mind drives over 95% of everything we think, everything we feel, and everything we do. So you can imagine that up to age 7, you probably didn't have a lot of discernment about what you were taking in. And when you were assigning meaning to things that you were taking in life, you assigned meaning that was incomplete. Because of the way this works, it's very common for all humans, really, to struggle with some kind of limiting belief. But when your self-worth has been attacked even later in life, and you didn't have a really firm foundation from childhood, it can become even more difficult to define what true self-worth is, what that feels like, and have a deep sense of worthiness. So if you don't have that solid, deep sense of self-worth, where your subconscious mind knows and understands this about yourself, you could find yourself struggling to make changes in your life that you know you need to make, that you want to make, and that you just don't seem able to make happen. But this can all be reframed through hypnosis. Hypnosis allows you to access your subconscious mind, and that is a complete game changer. So you might be wondering how you can actually accomplish this change. Well, the first part is waking up. Now, sometimes life wakes us up to this big realization that we do need to make a change in our life. Sometimes it's a crisis. Sometimes it's the failure of a relationship. Whatever it is, it just wakes you up to the fact that you can't keep doing things the way that you always have in the past. And other times, you might just be sick and tired of doing life the way that you always have, and something deep within you just knows that you need to make a change. You desperately want to make a shift, and you want to lead a different life. But regardless of how it comes to you, it requires some level of awareness and desire for change. But the thing is, when we decide to make a change, we often engage our willpower. But willpower runs out. It's actually run by the conscious mind, and it isn't very strong. The The subconscious mind has so much more power than the conscious mind that when we make changes from the subconscious level, it becomes the driving force in our life versus having a willpower thing where you're trying to make a change, but the willpower runs out quickly and it can't actually access the subconscious mind. And that's where the frustration comes from. So the most rapid, most effective way to create change and really deepen and reconnect with your sense of self-worth is through a customized hypnotherapy program. This is where you can actually get to the root cause of the issue. You can reframe your core beliefs around these issues and you can start creating the kind of life that you want, creating actual, real, lasting change. This really helps you to raise your standards, to calm your fears, and to finally get the clarity you need to make the choices to create the life that you want. Before you can be different in a permanent way in your life, you really have to be able to know what you want, and you have to be able to start functioning differently on a consistent basis. And that's why the subconscious shift is so powerful. It isn't willpower. It doesn't have the weakness of willpower. It's from a deep, sustainable place. You truly are the creator of your own life. But to get to that place where you're actually creating what you want, you first have to get those old judgments and beliefs that didn't belong to you, that someone else put there once upon a time or that you misinterpreted. You need to be able to get those out of your subconscious programming so that you can move forward without so much resistance. Once you remove that resistance, you can start boldly creating a new life, boldly making shifts into what you really want because you aren't being held back by all of that doubt and all of that fear and all of that disconnect from your own self-worth. Matter of fact, I just had a client that had lots of stress and anxiety. It had been a lifelong issue for her. She had been in therapy for years and years and was continuing with talk therapy while I was seeing her as a client. And after 3 sessions, she went to see her therapist, and her therapist actually told her, "I don't think you need to come in here anymore. You're not struggling in any area." That is the power of the subconscious mind. You can sit and talk about the issues you're struggling with in your conscious mind, but when you access it on a subconscious level, you actually gain the power that you need to make that shift and to change in a real and lasting way. But this really requires you to invest in your own personal growth. It requires taking action. It requires you making a conscious effort on your part to really tune into what you want and need in this life and quit putting it on the back burner and make a choice to go after it. So when you're ready to break that cycle, when you're finally ready to commit to your own growth, your own self-worth, and to really having your confidence again, set up a consultation with me. I would love to talk to you about this. I would love to answer any questions you have and give you an even fuller explanation of how this works and see if we're a good fit to work together. So be sure to check out that link in the description. The truth is, when you change yourself, you change the world. So until next time, I hope you curate a life by your own design.